going to be the piece that I want to talk to you about today. We thought with Elvira, what should we record for you today in this video? And I came up with an idea with this piece because I was just teaching recently one of my students who play this piece, who is playing this piece at the moment. And actually we have a lot of students who love this piece by Bach. It's a great piece. It's a Little Prelude in C minor by Bach. And it's a great piece. Generally, the Little Preludes by Bach are a great preparation for more complex and more difficult pieces by Bach. This piece is technically very useful because it has all those 16th notes and alternating between the left and the right hand. This is a great rhythm training. If you look at the score, actually, you will see you have the 16th notes, and then after that you have 8 note, 16 note, 8 note, 16 note, but that's actually, these notes represent 16 notes together, left and right hand together. So this piece is actually a wonderful piece. Aside from all these technical aspects that I'm just explaining, this piece is a wonderful musical piece. You can actually, once you conquer the technical aspects, this piece becomes a very beautiful piece musically. But before you get to that, you have to conquer the technical aspects, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. So it's a very useful piece. It has a lot of technical training, a lot of rhythmical training. You can benefit enormously, and it's a very, very nice sounding piece. Now, what is it exactly that I wanted to talk to you about today to get immediately to the topic at hand? The difficulty that we see almost with everyone is preparing from one bar to the next. So that's also a common problem in other pieces, but because this piece is constantly going forward, there is no stop. As you see what I just played for you, I wanted to demonstrate, the piece constantly moves from one bar to the next without any interruption. As you can see, and we will see the score, we can put it on the screen, you already saw it, but we can put the score on the screen so you can see that it's constantly going forward. You don't have any time between the bars, you don't have any time for any hesitation. And what we see most often is students getting the difficulties, students actually having problem with transferring from one bar to the next. So what we see is, if I'm going to try to demonstrate the mistake that we see is this. You play, and then students trying to find what the next bar is, because it becomes very stressful. You have to maintain the tempo. You have to maintain this tempo that's constantly going and moving forward. And at the same time, you need to move from one bar to the next. Sometimes the bars are repeating. You have 2 bars together that are the same notes. That's easy. But when you have to move, you have to change after that to the 3rd bar. There will be something else, something different happening. And so this is the problem that I wanted to address today. And you know why actually this is so difficult? Because in piano playing, we need to learn to read forward. And this piece brings up exactly this difficult challenge, reading forward. You cannot possibly look at the bar that you're playing and not look a little bit forward and see what's coming. Because if you don't look forward, you will not be able to prepare on time. So when I'm playing bar number 1, I'm already scanning bar number 2. Now I'm scanning bar number 3. Now I'm looking at 4. So around the end of each bar, I'm already looking at the next bar, what I have to do there. And so this in piano playing, and actually in other instruments as well, you have to be able to read a little bit forward. When you read books, it's the same story. If you're not very good at reading books, you will be staying on the same words and you will be reading word by word. But people who read extremely quickly, extremely fast, they can look forward. And so this piece is a great also example of that. Reading forward and being able to actually read forward well. Before I continue further with the video, if you are not a subscriber yet, please subscribe, give this video a like, because you help us enormously by doing this. So now, since we've established what the problem is with this piece, breathing forward and hesitating between the bars, I'm going to give you 2 exercises. Recently I was teaching a student of mine exactly with this piece, and I gave him an exercise. But later I realized that there is a second exercise that you can add and put them together, these 2 exercises next to each other, and they can give you wonderful results. If you look at the score, have a look. You can see that all the notes form a chord. If you look at the right hand, you have, and if you put those notes together, you will have the C minor chord. If you look at the left hand, we have, that is also another pattern. Those are 3 notes that form a chord, but we're going to use them as a single note and an interval. Then if you look at bar number, let's say 3, because it's a different chord, you have these notes in the left hand, in the right hand. If you put them together, we have this chord. If you look at the left hand, we have this note, the bass, and these 2 notes. And the exercise will be that we'll be putting the bass and then the 2 notes combined together. So what I'm getting at is, instead of trying to play all the notes one after another, because that's a difficulty in itself, we're going to put the notes together, and so the exercise will be that you learn what each bar represents in a combination of notes. Let me show you the first exercise that I want you to do. We have 3 quarters in each bar, and we're going to do it very, very simple. You're going to have a bass note, because we always need to catch the next bass note. After the bass note, on the second quarter beat, we're going to have the chord of the right hand, which is going to be this, or this, or this. It depends on the bar. And as the third quarter, we're going to have the interval I just mentioned, that the 2 notes, the 2 last notes form of the left hand. This, or this, or this, or this, or this, etc. Then what I want you to do is very simple. First quarter, left hand. Second quarter, right hand, all the notes. Third quarter, left hand with the last 2 notes. Look how it sounds. I'll play from bar 1 so you can get it it's very actually simple. Etc. It's an incredibly simple exercise. Why this is beneficial? Because you don't have to overthink how to combine all the notes together. The only thing you're teaching yourself is how to move from one bar to the next, and you're actually learning all the notes of each bar. That's your first exercise. You have to do this with and without a metronome, and do it over and over again in a comfortable tempo. And then you can vary the tempos with the metronome. You can increase, you can decrease, you can do whatever you like. But the point here is that you learn all the notes put together. It also gives you the opportunity I just mentioned to read forward. You have to be able to read forward. And because you have to play much fewer, right? Because you have only 3 quarters and you don't have all these different notes, you will be able to read a little bit forward. So that's a great training and a great opportunity by simplifying things, that you read towards forward to the next bar before you actually get there. If you're ambitious, and I'm sure that many of you would like another exercise, we know from our students that they really like fancy exercises. We're going to do a little bit more fancier one. So what you're going to do now is you are going to do the same, but we're going to add one little thing. So when you play the first bar, you're going to play it normally. When you get to the second bar, you're going to do it in the exact exercise I just mentioned. Then you're going to start from the second bar, you're going to do it normally, and the third bar, you're going to do it as the first exercise. Let me demonstrate. So we're doing a combination. First bar is going to be normally played like this. Now, the second bar is going to be this. Then, if you get the second bar right, you're going to do the second bar and you're going to stop at the third bar in the exact same way. Then if you get that right, you play the third bar normally. And then the fourth bar, you do it in the chord and interval system I just explained. So the first bar you play normally. The second bar you play in chords and intervals. If you get it right, you have to start from the second bar, move on, play it normally, move to the third one, and play the third one again in a chord and interval system. In this way, the second exercise introduces normal playing, but with the restful feeling that every next bar, initially, firstly, is going to be played in a chord and interval pattern. In this way, you relax, you see if you did the next bar right, and if you did, you play it normally, you continue to the next bar. Again, this second exercise has to be done with and without metronome. It's useful to do both. And of course, without saying, it comes that you have to play different tempi. We see a common mistake. People play one and the same tempi and they expect different results. It doesn't work. You know the saying, doing one and the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is craziness. The same is with music. Playing one and the same tempo over and over again and expecting different results is insane. It doesn't work. You have to do different tempi. So enjoy these two exercises. We know that they work very well. And by the way, be creative. You can use these exercises in other pieces as well. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget, subscribe, like. You can also follow us on Instagram. We upload there regularly. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any further questions or requests for a video, that's a topic that is really important to you and that you want to find answers to, just let us know. Thanks for watching. See you next time.